Good morning. It's me, Connie McDonald. I am um, here this morning. I wasn't here yesterday due to just a really busy day. And I want to read just for today, for January 25th. It's from the NA program, but it applies to life. So just use it how you can use it in your own life. We all feel defeated about something or overwhelmed by something often in our life. So it says, we see it happening among us every day. This miraculous turnabout is evidence of a spiritual awakening. Basic text, page 49. We watch them walk into their first meeting defeated, their spirits broken, their suffering is obvious, and their desire for help even more apparent. They collect a welcome chip and go back to their seat, shaken by the effort. We see them again and they seem a little more comfortable. They found a sponsor and are attending meetings every night. They still won't meet our glance, but they nod their heads in recognition as we share. We notice a spark of hope in their eyes and they smile uncertainly when we encourage them to keep coming back. A few months later, they are standing straight. They have learned how to make eye contact. They're working the steps with their sponsor and are healing as a result. We listen to them sharing at meetings and we stack chairs with them afterwards. A few years later, they're speaking at a convention workshop. They've got a wonderful, humorous personality and they smile when they see us. They hug us, they tell us they could never have done it without us, and they understand when we say, nor could we without you. Just for today, I will find joy in witnessing the recovery of another. So this is a great reading, completely spot on. Though it doesn't happen that fast for most of us. For myself, I did not trust anybody, and I thought everybody was crazy at these meetings. How could they possibly be so happy? What drug were they on? And I wanted some of that. It took me 18 months of going to meetings pretty much every day before I actually jumped in with both feet. So some of us, it takes a little bit longer um, to get a sponsor and start working the steps and doing the things that we need to do to be healthy. So I want to talk about something. In those 18 months, my husband was working. We did an environmental change because we wanted to start life over where people didn't know us as these junkies that we were, and we had an apartment. We had friends from the meetings. We went on adventures with these friends. Some of you may remember going rafting and, starting the Easter stuff that we started over in Knight's Ferry and all kinds of things. We were doing some great, wonderful things, having fun, 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 fun. To nobody's knowledge but my own, including my husband and my children, I was waking up at night in the middle of the night, taking these extremely hot baths just to feel something and crying my eyes out. And the reason is because the outside all looked good. And I had the things I needed, and there was food in the refrigerator, and the lights were on, and I wasn't using anymore. And I was going to meetings, but I hadn't done anything on the inside. So I want you to imagine this line right here, okay? And above here, if you just quit using, things change. You become employable again shortly. Your scars on your face and stuff clear up. The scars on your arms and necks and wherever you did IV drugs, they start healing and getting better. You start gaining weight and looking healthier. You start, like they say, smiling and nodding your head at the meetings, and you get a car maybe, or you get an apartment, or you have all these friends, and so your social life and everything that was wiped out when you were using, because you were isolating or hanging out with a whole different crowd, and leaving your family behind and all. Some of that, most of that is easily gained back, except maybe family. That takes a while. but your social stuff comes back, and you're working, and your appearance, and you gain items from working, and you start not being subhuman in looks, okay? But if we don't do any inside work under this line that I have drawn here, up here it all looks good, right? But down here we're miserable. We're crying in the middle of the night. We're um, holding our hands tight, just daily trying not to use. We're wondering, is this all there is? Because we don't have a sponsor. We're not working the steps. We're not working from the inside out. I don't care what recovery you're in, mental health, um, drug and alcohol, food, whatever it is. We have to do the inside work, because all this under here that nobody can see is exactly what sunk the Titanic, right? So up here on the Titanic, there was every luxury that was available during that time. The unsinkable ship, right? It could never, but it was sunk by under the things that they could not see, which was all underneath the water. The iceberg that they crashed into, the majority of it was underwater. There was this little peak coming out, but the majority of it was underwater. So we will sink if we don't do some inside work. We will sink. We will be miserable. We will push away the people who care about us, and eventually probably relapse. Even if we don't relapse, people around you might think, God, I wish you were drinking again, or God, I wish you were using drugs again, because you are a miserable person. And like I said, there's different roads to Chicago. Some people choose religion, and that works for them. Some, need both. And some need the 12 steps and counseling. Some need a tiny bit of medication to get them through the beginning, where there's no serotonin and dopamine working in your head. And, there's all different things, and none of us should judge how somebody else has to do their road. I could think of a million people who might say, when they're watching me talk like this, well, she doesn't even go to meetings anymore. She doesn't. No, I really don't hardly ever go to any of the functions or meetings anymore. I choose once in a while to show up. Uh, but in my daily life, I am living recovery. I have a solid foundation. I have a solid group of friends that call me out on my shit. And so it is not for you to judge how I do my recovery, and it's not for me to judge how you do your recovery. I do know the 12 steps work. That's what saved my life. But there is more, and I'm not encouraging anybody to stop going. Hell to the no. But what I am saying is, I've come to a place where I work in this field. Like I said, have my support group. I I live what I have learned over the years in recovery. Um, so when I do something that doesn't feel right, I'm real clear that it doesn't feel right, and I owe somebody an amends, or I need to reevaluate what I was doing. So anyhow, um, I did want to talk about some other things today, but I don't really have time. I have to get ready for work, so maybe over the weekend I'll be able to do a video on what I think are some important topics, especially for women my age and older. Um, because, yeah, so we'll get to that another time. I do have to go to work. Be mindful of your recovery. Be mindful of the newcomer. Be gentle. We not too gentle though, because now we're all trying to be so nice and everything, that I think some of the old ways work, when it's almost like, put the cotton in your mouth and listen, because you really don't know anything yet, and you need to learn. So I know people don't talk like that anymore. Pet peeve is cell phones at meetings for me, because you're going to miss, or you're going to make your neighbor miss something that may save their life in the future. So turn those cell phones off if you're going to meetings. Turn them off at church. Turn them off at your work meetings, all of it. You're going to miss something that you need to hear, whether it be work related, personal related. Turn it off with your partner. Listen to what people have to say, talk, communicate. We're losing that. We're losing that ability. So, anyway, off to work I go. Have a great day. And like I said, I know this is the ugliest shirt on the planet, but it's time to do laundry, and my shirt doesn't appreciate people coming in without clothes. So I have to wear this ugly thing today. Have fun. It's Friday. I hope you have plans for the weekend that are fun, and be safe. Always be safe. Talk to you later.